I am, I hope, at the last step of the naturalisation process, the citizenship test, and have been ushered into an antechamber cordoned off from the bigger waiting room. A holy of holies open to the dozen or so candidates who are similarly at the final stages, and wearing a suit and tie in a craven effort to project as much polish as is humanly possible while being perched on an orange plastic seat alongside two fellow applicants, a pair of Mexican gents in grease-stained chef smocks, one sporting a hairnet as they whisper, giggle, and occasionally take turns to knuckle-punch each other's biceps. We all snap to attention the moment a harried-looking, plump Department of Homeland Security employee lollops into the room. He reaches the doorway and, after slowly pulling out a lectern that had been hidden there, wedges himself in behind it. "Daroon? Leonard Daroon?" he calls out while flicking lazily through a sheaf of papers. Behind me, a pair of elderly Belgians struggle to their feet in unison and shuffle forward towards the lectern from the back of the room. One sports a well-worn, slightly faded black beret, the other a fraying purple scarf bedecked with the logo of Belgian football club Anderlecht. The jaded caseworker can't mask his impatience as they amble in his direction. "Leonard Daroon?" he inquires again, in a weary tone that causes a beret wearer to speed up his step, and in a thick Flemish-accented English intercede on his compatriot's behalf. "He speak only the Flemish," he explains. "Can you translate?" snarls the caseworker impatiently. "Yeah," the old man nods. "Okay, tell him to put his right hand over his heart and repeat after me." The old Belgian does as he is told, and the caseworker begins. "Leonard Daroon of Anderlecht, Belgium, you have completed the naturalisation process and will now be sworn in as a citizen of the United States of America." Those last 14 words totally transform the energy in the room. All eyes immediately lock onto the scene unfolding before us. I had been feverishly reviewing the answers to the citizenship test questions that had stumped me the night before, but in an instant, stop whispering, Benjamin Franklin was also the nation's first Postmaster General, and the number of amendments that have been proposed to the Constitution is 33. A Sikh student pulls his eyes away from his geophysics textbook. An African mother in beautiful colours tilts her head to the side. Even the Mexican boys call a truce on their play fight and stare. After clearing his throat dramatically, the caseworker begins the oath of allegiance with a flourish. "I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state or sovereignty," and then pauses to allow Beret Belgian to whisper into his companion's ear and translate. "Ich verklaar hierbij und der Eide dat ik absoluut en volledig afstand doe van alle loyaliteit en trouw aan elke buitenlandse prince, potentat, staat of heerschap," wizened purple scarf guy declares, seeming almost magically to stand a little taller with every word. The immigration caseworker's demeanour also changed. It was as if, for him, the Oath of Allegiance is a beloved song on a classic oldies radio station. No longer fatigued, he begins to deliver his lines with an oaky baritone timbre. "I take this obligation freely," he sings with heft, enjoying every possible drawn-out syllable, until he comes to the final phrase, "So help me God." For a beat, there's an awkward silence. Something so human and profound has just occurred, but in a room full of strangers. The caseworker is by now totally committed. "Yes, you should clap," he says, summoning a solemn tone befitting of the moment. And we do. Every single one of us, bonded in our shared desire to become American.